kicking off our week-long new series, Can You Hire Me Now? To help you land your dream job, our next guest will tell you how to negotiate like a real pro. We all know, especially lately, how hard it can be to land a job in today's economy. So this week, we're giving you some specific tools that do just that. Today, we're kicking off our week-long series called Can You Hire Me Now? We're kicking it off today looking at negotiating techniques, the most important ones you need to have. What's the secret to negotiating the job and then getting the best salary deal? Joining me now, Eldonna Fernandez. She's CEO of Dynamic Vision International, a training and consulting firm, and author of the book, Think Like a Negotiator. Eldonna, thrilled to have you here. Beginning first with negotiating, how important is it going to, needing to negotiate when it comes to actually landing the job?
Well, Liz, great to be here, and in my 30 years of negotiation, both in the military and the civilian sector, and now as a speaker and trainer teaching negotiation, I found we negotiate each and every day of our lives, and it's very important to think like a negotiator when going in for the job.
Well, to train us now, how to think like a negotiator, we've got sort of a bifurcated issue here, to land the job and then to negotiate the best opportunity for the job. So, I like your story because, again, you mentioned you were in the military, you're retired Air Force, you've reached very high ranks, and that becomes a question. When you got out of the government and you started trying to land jobs, how did you learn that you needed to know how to negotiate way better?
Well, I actually learned by fire, I guess. My first experience wasn't the greatest in the interviewing process, and I realized I had to think like a negotiator even in the job market. I had to have confidence. I had to be prepared in advance.
Well, let's use that word confidence. Number one tip, everybody, and people are watching because they love these news you can use lists. The number one tip is to show confidence, but there's a subsector to that, right? You don't want to be obnoxious, right?
Right, you don't want to be over the top in somebody's face, but we have confidence. We're negotiators. If you think you don't have the confidence to negotiate, you do, because you've been negotiating, whether it's a multi-million-dollar deal or where to meet for dinner. You're negotiating things every day of your life, so you just build on those skills and then take that confidence into the interview.
Well, give me an example of being confident. Don't be too bold or brazen or cocky, but yet show. I think employers just would love to have somebody sit in their office and say, I am confident, I can do the best job for you, I'll come in early, I'll stay late, I'm the person for this particular position.
Exactly. Doing some research on the company, finding out a little bit of history, and showing that you actually know something about the company that you're going to be working for. And then, like you said, telling them you're willing to come in early, you're going to stay late, you have integrity, you're the one for the job. Bring all that to the table and show that in your level of confidence when you're interviewing for the job.
Okay. Second, you say, of course, and this is a classic negotiating issue, you've got to be willing to walk away. But, Eldonna, when people are so desperate to get the job and to get a decent salary, how do you do that when you don't want to walk away?
Right. You can't show that you're desperate for it. You have to be confident and motivated, because if you show that you're desperate, they'll see that and they'll use that as leverage. So you want to make sure that you show your confidence, you show your experience, and be willing to walk away, because you don't want to compromise your values. You don't want to compromise your bottom line. So there are times when you just need to walk away depending on what they offer you.
Well, let's talk about the next one, and that is leave emotion out of it. That's sort of a tail end of desperation, right?
Right. Well, a lot of times in negotiation, people often get emotional. They use emotion. They use bullying. They use yelling. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be over-emotional. You don't want to fire hose somebody with information. You don't want to just be forceful in their face. You need to be calm. You need to be collective. And that's, again, where you draw from that confidence in your experience.
When you land the job, don't be afraid, this is number 4, to ask for what you want. There are a lot of things, a lot of points that can be negotiable. For example, if you want one certain thing when it comes to leaving early on a certain day because of your kids, then you give up a little bit of something else, correct?
Right, and it's not just all about salary. And if we don't ask, we don't get. People are often afraid to ask because they fear rejection. And people say no 3 times before they say yes these days. So you have to just keep asking and figure out a different way to ask, and just be creative with what you're asking for.
And be pleasant about it. Finally, don't talk too much. I've never heard that one before.
Well, Well, have you ever been in a situation where somebody will talk you into the sale or talk you into the situation, and then they keep on talking, they fire hose information, they throw information down your throat, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to hear any more from this person. You want to give enough information that they're interested, but you don't want to tell them the whole story. You don't want to tell them the book, that whole adage of, oh, okay, what time is it? I'm going to tell you how to build the watch.
Oh, yeah, forget it. Exactly. Great advice, Eldonna Lewis Fernandez. And by the way, we're going to put all of Eldonna's support and ideas up on Facebook.com/AfterTheBell. Again, Eldonna, she is the author of How to Think Like a Negotiator. Thank you so much.